Well, welcome back. I got this headline last week. Actually about 4 days ago. Michael Wickline's state lottery haul rises to $36.2 million, but net proceeds fall for scholarships. We're going to talk more about this. Here we got Family Council's Ken Yang back with us on the line. Ken, how are you, sir?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well this morning. Now, I know Family Council tackles this issue of the lottery, gambling addictions, state sponsored. It can kind of, what do you think about this? I mean, this headline is pretty, I think, damning. I think a lot of people think, well, a state sponsored vice, but it's for the kids, so they can go to college.
Yes. We've been talking about this for years, and the lottery's been around for I guess almost 10 years now, and I tell people, say we want the lottery to give to more to scholarships, but if you go out and actually tell people, say, hey, I want to mandate the lottery to give 25%, the majority of people actually think you're going to lower it. They don't know how actually pitiful it is of the proceeds they actually give to the scholarships.
And that's incredible to me, And then, of course, you got to think, well, what management company are we using that's making money hand over fist? I mean, I've literally seen kids, ask their parent in the line at a gas station for a candy bar. The answer is no. Now, I don't know, maybe they just have a no sugar policy. But it just was kind of weird. No, son, you can't have the candy, but then you're forking over $100-$200 worth of lottery tickets. I mean, come on now.
Yep. I mean, that's the lottery, as we all know, it preys on the poor, preys on those that honestly can't afford it, and that's what the lottery continues to do. I think in the article it mentions they have over 100 machines now in lottery vending machines in Walmart, and they're set to expand that to hopefully, in their minds, hopefully more convenience stores like that.
Yeah. I see this right here. I've got this post up over at familycouncil.org from Jerry Cox. Yesterday we wrote about how the Arkansas Lottery continues to give college scholarships a pathetic amount of funding despite taking tens of millions of dollars every month. Today, the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette notes the lottery paid less scholarships in September than this year, than September of last year. As the article points out, the Arkansas Lottery sells a lot of instant tickets, aka scratch-offs. That isn't anything to celebrate. It actually indicates the Arkansas Lottery may be preying on the poor and vulnerable.
Just think where they're putting these vending machines. A family, a mother or father that's supposed to go into Walmart or Kroger or wherever to buy groceries for the family, but instead they spend that money going to the lottery vending machine. And it's, and they advertise it. You see all the advertisements on TV. You look at all these millions and millions of dollars that we give to the students, but they're quick to say a big number, but slow to tell you that they give 17 to 18% to students, and that they're the lowest or next to lowest in the nation when it comes to net proceeds to whatever program that the lottery is funding.
Yeah, and that's the problem is you have these folks that are like trying to take the moral high ground here because it's funding scholarships. I will tell you this: I saw the lottery advertisements back when football season started in September, and they were the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery was heavily using the Razorback logo. And I thought to myself, I know there's plenty of adults who like the Razorbacks here in Arkansas, but there's also a whole lot of kids. And, I just think that's wrong. You know what I mean? Using that, very popular symbol in the state, putting it on lottery tickets. I think you're kind of potentially enticing kids to want to play the lottery when they grow up.
Yeah. And then you start hearing the debate is not about, the lottery not giving enough to scholarships. The debate becomes, what about my college? What about my alma mater? Why is there not this type of lottery ticket? I mean, who cares, for goodness sakes, guys? Like, we have the worst one lottery in the nation, and we seem to just shrug our shoulders over it. And the excuses they give us of why they're awful is it's honestly pitiful.
Mm-hmm. It says here, again, familycouncil.org, the Arkansas lottery relies more on scratch-off tickets than neighboring states. So far this fiscal year, scratch-off tickets have accounted for 85% of the Arkansas lottery's ticket sales. Last year, scratch-off tickets made up nearly 82%. So, yeah. And then it says, well, let me ask you this. You think scratch-off tickets are addictive?
You know, I think it's a form of gambling. You know, we hear about gambling addiction all the time. You know, with the new casinos going in, you know, a lot of really it's just an arm of gambling, and people do have a huge problem when it comes to gambling, and that would be lottery scratch offs, or that would be even playing the Powerball. I think it's all in that realm. You know, some people, I know there are people that, if the lottery gets up to, you know, 400, 300 million, they buy one lottery ticket, but unfortunately that's not everyone. Fortunately, a lot of people take their paycheck, take their money that they've earned that needs to go to their family, and they go straight to the gas station or the convenience store to buy scratch-off tickets.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, and we're already a state that's, you know, unfortunately, Arkansans don't have a lot of disposable income. And
no.
And so, go ahead.
Well, and my issue, and family council's issue is that, you know, they talk about how even if we give, you know, our thing is we'll give 3 to 5% less in prizes, and we would meet the 25% threshold of giving to scholarships. And, you know, they'll talk about, well, if we take the money from prizes, the players will stop playing. And it's just an absolutely ludicrous claim that the players would notice a 3 to 5% drop in prizes being awarded in the state of Arkansas. And a point that they don't want to talk about is that even if revenue dropped by $100 million for the lottery in Arkansas, by requiring a 25% payout would still increase the scholarship fund by $10 million. That's 10,000 more $1,000 scholarships, or 2,500 more $4,000 scholarships, or even $2,000 more $5,000 scholarships. Wow. And those are numbers that they don't want to talk about. They're too busy celebrating the fact that they've made millions of dollars each month versus how little they give to actual students here in the state.
Yeah. 100 million. I don't really remember when we voted on this in 2008. I don't remember some of the promises.
They promised a world-class run lottery, is what they promised us.
World
and said we're
class.
The most awful in the nation.
That's fantastic. A world-class run lottery, and we're dead last.
Yep.
Man, that's really sad. We're talking with Ken Yang. He is from Family Council. Found out more at familycouncil.org. They got some great articles up here that really kind of pair with this article from Michael Wickline over the Arkansas Democrat Gazette last week. Again, you know, they're not giving money to scholarships, and yet, you know, they get to advertise. I mean, they are, but they're not giving near enough. And a lot of people think this is, you know, I think a lot of people think, well, you know, this was something that other states had. We didn't have it for the longest time. It was Democrat. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ken. This was Democrat Lieutenant Governor Bill Halter's idea, right?
Yes, it was his idea. You know, and yeah, I was a college student at the time. You know, when you're a college student, you hear more scholarships. You think that it's a great idea. And I know people know that Family Council was opposed to the lottery, but it's no longer about opposing the lottery. Now it's that we have it, so let's run it properly and make it a true scholarship lottery. Most people don't know what's allocated to the lottery is actually what's left over. They don't budget for the scholarship. It's what's left over that goes to the scholarships after they deal with their budget.
Yeah. I have to ask you while I still have you here, kind of a transition in topics, but because your parent, and I want to remind everybody, you know, your parents immigrated from communist China to the United States. You know, small business owners. We have this. I haven't gotten to talk to you about this, but the situation with the NBA in China. And what LeBron James said, I don't know if you saw the headlines. LeBron James, they're calling him, instead of King James, they're calling him Chairman James this morning, because he's also bowing to the communist Chinese. That's got to be disturbing for somebody like you who's, heard stories from your parents about what really goes on over there.
Yeah. Well, first of all, LeBron should just stick to losing in the NBA Finals. That's what he should stick to doing, and not comment on, he talked about that guy being misinformed. Well, maybe LeBron's just uneducated on this topic. Well, let's just put it that way. That's how infuriating it is with his comments about being misinformed, and it's just sad. I think Congressman Rick Crawford actually spoke about this at the Randolph Lawrence County Lincoln Day dinner about China, about how it's sad seeing the NBA and Americans kowtowing to China because they're so worried about their bottom line. Instead of worrying about, our principles and our freedoms and things of that sort. And, my dad was one of the lucky ones to flee. I talk about how they fled, but not everyone got to flee. And most people that tried to flee died or were killed or murdered. And so they're one of the lucky ones to flee. And I've said it before. I said again, this is my opinion, not family council's opinion, but my opinion that, Xi Jinping is the closest to Chairman Mao than, Mao himself. And that's a dangerous path that China's going down again.
Yeah. Ken, I always appreciate it, sir. Thanks for coming on this morning, talking scholarship lottery with us. Again, I think you raised great points. It's, the lottery's here. So let's demand that we manage it better and actually fund scholarships instead of just, kind of giving the leftovers. And also really appreciate your thoughts on NBA in China. Really do. Appreciate it, sir.
Yep. Thank you.
All righty, folks. Ken Yang.